This is 6 days of what I eat and what I cook. So lots and lots of really easy, simple, lazy meals. Emphasis on lazy. Support today comes from Squarespace. This week starts on a Tuesday with what has to be my current favorite type of oatmeal. Okay, so first, to a small to medium pot, you're going to add half a cup of quick cooking oats, a pinch of salt, and about a cup of water. Bring this up to a boil, then let it simmer, mixing frequently. To the still piping hot oatmeal, I'm adding frozen blueberries, chocolate chips, and some tahini. And when you mix it all together, both the chocolate and the berries start to melt, and the chocolate really nicely sweetens everything, the berries give it a bit of a tang, and the tahini just adds a little something. Lunch was just as cozy. It was this very random and improvised soup that just turned out really nicely. First, I brought a large pot with a bit of olive oil to medium heat. Since we're blending everything up later, cutting the onion, or onions in my case, roughly is more than enough. Also cut up a handful of potatoes, plus if you'd like some ginger. Add the onion to the oil and give that about 3 to 5 minutes. And here's where I'm also adding some ginger. So after a few minutes, add the potatoes, a can of white beans, some fresh thyme, a vegetable broth cube, some balsamic vinegar, some store-bought hummus, and about 2 to 3 cups of water. Bring this up to a boil, and then let this simmer on medium to medium-low for about 20 minutes, or until the potatoes are tender. And then blend everything up. It's not necessarily the most beautiful soup, but it's really, really tasty. The ginger works so well in this one. I am terrible at interior design, but I've had this really big blank wall in my bedroom, and I was thinking I could do something fun with it, so I'm on Pinterest trying to find photos that I like and enjoy, and I think I'm gonna do a little collage, a little wall collage moment, because I have the time today to do it, so that's fun. Coming home from the coffee shop, I snacked on 2 pears topped with peanut butter and salt. Now for dinner, I just reheated the leftover soup, having some YouTube playing in the background, whilst I also tried to make my own chili oil, which kind of failed. I think I had the oil on way too high, and I ended up wasting quite a bit of chili and peanuts. I might actually be revisiting the chili oil recipe at another point in this video. Alright, moving on to the next day. First things first, I have to show off my coffee. It's very pretty, I know. Here I'm chopping up a small apple and this roasted peanut date bar. I'm obsessed with these. Actually, anytime I was in need of a snack that week, I would have one of these bars. Not necessarily filming it every single time, just so you know. I transferred both to my muesli bowl together with some basic muesli mix, some coconut granola, some ground flax seeds, and some almond milk. Lunch was super yummy, and just like breakfast, it took not even 5 minutes to make. It was some sourdough bread, toasted, and then I grabbed a large plate bowl and added the following things: balsamic vinegar, soy sauce, maple syrup, roasted sesame seeds, bit of seasoned salt, and some sesame oil. Next, I grabbed a cucumber and grated about half of the cucumber directly into the dressing, giving that a quick mix afterwards. Then I just topped my bread off with some of this sunflower seed cucumber spread and the cucumber salad. This is really nice. Dinner was super simple as well. It simply just consisted of roasted potato chunks, fresh baby spinach, some hummus, and sriracha. Mixed with a bit of water to create this sauce. And that was that.
Hello.
On Wednesdays, my siblings and I try to do bedtime story nights. I then ended my night with another pear snack and a granola bar, I think, tea, a hot water bottle. Thursday, I woke up with an idea for this smoothie: frozen bananas, cut into chunks, 1 small cooked beet, unsweetened cacao, ground flax seeds, nut butter, caramel flavor drops, and almond milk. So I had this with some granola and sesame seeds. It was sort of like a smoothie bowl soup.
I'm gonna go to a workspace in a bit because I need to get out of the house and see humans.
No matter what the cafe or workspace is, I try their banana bread and rate it in my head. So this one gets a 6.5 out of 10. Then for a very late lunch, these frozen burritos. The recipe for these is in my previous video. They're filled with potatoes and spinach and beans and hummus. They're good, although I almost burnt them. Then I blended up some chickpeas and olive oil, spinach, unsweetened yogurt, bunch of spices. My goal was to create more of a chickpea salad, but I guess I shouldn't have used this blender in particular because it turned everything into more of a chunky hummus, which I was fine with. It's still delicious. It's quite the random meal. Later that night, I saw my brother briefly. He insisted on getting vegan sushi for the both of us to share, but then after the fact told me that he actually does not like avocado, and so it was my job to eat all the avocado maki.
I saw this video yesterday of a barista putting together this drink that was matcha, ice, and then this amazing looking pink milk. I have not stopped thinking about this drink ever since I saw it, and so I need to try and make my own.
So first, I'm combining a teaspoon of matcha with a generous splash of hot water. Then to the blender, I'm adding frozen raspberries, vanilla drops, and agave syrup, and oat milk, of course. I've really been putting self-care and my alone time first, and while that has been quite healing to some extent, I ended up self-caring a little too hard, which led to just me isolating myself and so much overthinking. However, the solution to this problem is so simple: reaching out and talking to people that I'm not related to. And so that was my exact mission for the day. This cafe has a really cool vibe to it. The coffee's nice. However, it is not the most vegan friendly, so I only got a green smoothie there. I picked up this sesame pretzel bun thing for on the go to go see friend number 2. Dinner was this leftover pesto pasta that I cooked together with my friend Artemis, who also introduced me to this salted caramel vegan protein bar. It is funny how I went from not talking to anybody except my family for what feels like weeks to seeing 3 people in the same day. Friday was by far my favorite day of that week, and I know I need to learn from that. This pasta is so fun to eat, by the way. It's basically dumplings. moving on. Breakfast the next day was some oatmeal topped with frozen raspberries, chocolate chips, and peanut butter. Very good combo, very good combo. I initially was craving rice for lunch, but I didn't have any. And so instead, I made my own duck out of rice paper. I used to make these all the time. You basically just grab a sheet of rice paper, dip it into some water, and then once softened, you roll it up tightly and let this sit for just a few minutes before cutting this into little strips. And then you boil the rice cakes in salted water for only 30 seconds to a minute max. I would even recommend rinsing them with cold water before serving. I also cooked up some fake meat that I was sent recently. And then I also made this teriyaki inspired pak choi, which is loosely based on a cookbook recipe. So I just cut some bok choy into quarters or halves. And then in a small bowl, I mixed together some soy sauce, balsamic vinegar, syrup, sriracha, water, and cornstarch. And then to the same skillet from earlier, I added the bok choy, just allowing it to get some color. And then I added the water, allowing that to cook/steam for another few minutes over medium until the water is pretty much evaporated. And then you add your soy sauce mixture and allow everything to become nice and sticky. And that's pretty much it. And then Saturday evening, I once again did some socializing. This girl Tony, who did some of my tattoos, she hosted her first exhibition. And then afterwards, I went to dinner. It's a fully vegan Chinese food place, and it's so good. I haven't made pancakes on here in a minute, and this is a Sunday, so pancakes just make sense. This breakfast, however, it was just one giant banana oat pancake. It was really good. To my trusty small blender, I added all the ingredients for the batter, those being oats, cornstarch, baking powder, some cinnamon cardamom spice mix, salt, half a banana, almond milk, vanilla, and a bit of lemon juice. I brought a nonstick skillet with a bit of vegan butter to medium heat. And then instead of portioning this into tiny pancakes, I just poured the entire contents straight into the pan, creating one large pancake. I gave it about 4 minutes on each side, over medium to medium low. I served the pancake with some vanilla soy yogurt, the remaining banana half, and some walnuts. This tastes so much like banana bread. Oh, and add some coffee, of course. A little while later, I mustered up the courage to finally attempt chili oil again. I don't have a thermometer, which makes this a bit tricky, and so I went in with the method of using a wooden chopstick and seeing if there's bubbles forming around it. As the oil is heating up, I added my chili flakes and peanuts to a heat-proof bowl, and then I poured over the chili oil. You can just let this sit until cold and or even longer for a few hours, then transfer it to a glass jar, strain it if preferred. I made some of these quick tofu bites for lunch, cutting a block of tofu into bite-sized cubes, mixing those with cornstarch and salt, and allowing them to cook in a lightly greased nonstick pan for about 6 minutes. I had the tofu with some vegetables that I found in my fridge. We've got some carrots, some beets. I poured some lemon juice over the beets, and then I also had a few slices of sourdough bread with hummus. On to dinner, featuring pak choi, yet again, and ground beef. Question mark? For context, a friend of mine who is a food content creator as well was recently sent this giant package by Beyond Meat, and he asked me to relieve him of some of these products because his freezer couldn't take it. And so that's why I'm here frying what looks like actual meat but is in fact, of course, plant-based. Once I was done cooking the fake meat according to the packaging, I removed it from the skillet and then added my bok choy, letting that brown for just a few minutes once again. And then I added some water. In the meantime, I cooked some noodles. Once the vegetables were pretty much cooked through, I added my soy dressing. So same as what I did the previous day, I just doubled or even tripled the amount of ingredients here. So I made my friend watch Triangle of Sadness, which is one of my favorite movies from last year. Despite the fact that there's a 15-minute long scene of people throwing up, you can just skip through it. As we were watching the movie, we also snacked on these chocolate candies, vegan chocobons. What the hell? Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for If you have a second, click like, that'd be really nice, and subscribe if you haven't already. And last but not least, here's a word from today's sponsor. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Squarespace makes it incredibly easy for you to develop and grow your online business and monetize your expertise in a way that suits your brand best. Start with a new website. Choose one of their many gorgeous templates to get started. Create a matching logo and newsletter, all within Squarespace as well. With member areas, you can now sell bonus hidden content, such as online courses, giving you the chance to build a new revenue stream with ease. If you need any extra help, don't hesitate to ask their 24/7 award-winning customer service. Head over to squarespace.com/MinaRome and use the code MinaRome to get 10% off your first purchase of a new website or domain. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I will see you soon. Bye!